to the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Two Dumb Yinzers. This is episode 70999999999.
Number 9.
Yeah.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
9. Good morning. We are back, guys, and it is, yes, that's right, it is Friday the 14th. Friday the 14th, which...
It's a special day.
A
special holiday.
It is a special day.
Yeah, you're glitching a little bit.
If my line would ever quit coming up, we're going to talk all about that in just a second, guys. But I'm kind of just letting my line clear up. Apparently, they're doing some kind of work nearby. The Comcast company is. But yes, guys, today is Friday the 14th, which has no relevant meaning. However, it is, guys, Steak and BJ Day. That's right.
Steak and BJ
Day.
There we go.
March 14th, the way that us guys get our gals back 1 month after Valentine's Day. And this was started like way back in like a war or some shit. And Steak and BJ Day. It's pretty self-explanatory, but this is, again, the way that our gals are supposed to pay us back after everything that we did for them on Valentine's Day, making their day special. They, come home and we all celebrate Steak and BJ Day. So, guys, I hope that works out for you. If it doesn't, I'm sorry, but it is that day, guys. It is Steak and BJ Day every year on March 14th. So I hope everybody enjoys it accordingly. I know Finch, I can tell by the look on Finch's face, he is getting ready to enjoy that. I can see, I know that look, Finch. I've seen you get excited about this day before.
Yeah, it's funny. I looked at the calendar this morning when I woke up. I looked at the phone and saw March 14th, and my brain does this thing once every couple of weeks where you see a date and you're like, "There's something about today's date. Is it a birthday? What is it about today?" And I did that this morning, and then I was like, "Oh shit, March 14th is taking a BJ Day." So I text the wife, and she goes, "Yeah, the kids are staying at grandma's tonight." I'm like, "Yes."
Everything's looking up for Finch.
Nice. You guys are all set.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Everything is coming up Millhouse. That's right.
It's the best.
You know what? Quite a few years since I learned. It's been quite a few years since I learned about Steak and BJ Day. But I can recall the guy that first taught me about it, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. He told me about it. And he just said, he goes home, he grabs the towel. Him and his old lady go down to the basement on the recliner, and they have Steak and BJ Day. I thought, how cool, and why more people don't celebrate this amazing holiday is beyond me, guys.
For married couples, it's a fun holiday. Yeah, if you're a married couple, it's good for people like us. It gives us an excuse to do something fun, the same. I mean, Valentine's Day is kind of the same.
Eat steak, right?
Yeah, but I like to do the cooking, so it works out well for her too, because I get to cook her a nice steak, and she gets to cook me a nice,
Well, I'm glad that works out for you. I really am. Again,
you want to come over?
This should
I'll
be
cook you a
something
steak, buddy.
You know what? I'll be there. Steak and BJ
I'll get the
Day
butter. We'll have the ribeye.
Guys.
I'll break out the cast iron, and you can do
I think Fitch is telling you to start working out your jaw, Ryan. Start laboring up, baby.
I got to be honest with you guys. We had this week. Hey, Corey, what's up,
Corey.
brother? This week we had we have Steak and BJ Day today. We had what else? We had an eclipse last night.
Mm-hmm.
We had Pi Day. Yesterday was Pi Day 3.14.
Today is Pi Day. Pi Day
Day
is also Steak and a BJ.
Wow.
You get
Pi Day and Steak and BJ Day are on the same day.
They're on the same day. So you get to enjoy the steak, you get to enjoy the BJ, and you get to enjoy the pie. That is 3.14 things to enjoy today.
Is it a cream pie?
It could be.
Yes,
It could
it's
be.
an innuendo. Mike got hungry whenever he heard about pies, but don't get too excited about these pies on Steak and BJ
I sure
Day.
do love me some of that pumpkin pie.
I love me some
Give me some of that pumpkin pie with some of that whipped cream. I love it. Give me more. I love me some whipped cream.
Good morning, Corey. Corey on the board. And I do want to recognize Corey and Mike. I want to recognize Cattleball Warrior the past couple of days. In the comment section, they were unable to check out the show, but we always see you guys. And I do want to say thank you. And let's catch up on what Corey said here. He says, "Hey guys, sorry I missed the show yesterday, but how about Mason's return? That's better than Rodgers to me. We are signing the FB from San Fran. Question mark. You know what? This guy from San Francisco, I just want to say this, Kyle, anybody could help me on the pronunciation.
If you
the fullback. Juszczyk, that's how you pronounce it?
Juszczyk.
Kyle Juszczyk.
Kyle Juszczyk, yep.
So as of yesterday, guys, Kyle Juszczyk is he made a trip to Pittsburgh to visit the Steelers. Guys, he's a 9-time Pro Bowl fullback out of San Francisco. We've been riding with these fullbacks like Connor Hayward and guys like this over the years. So I got to be honest, I would be excited if we would bring in somebody like Kyle Juszczyk, because again, all the fullbacks that we had over the years, again, Connor Hayward, go back. This dude is actually a 9-time Pro Bowler, Mike.
Yep. 9-time for San Francisco and for the Baltimore Ravens. He's a pretty athletic guy too. I wouldn't mind having him in, but I'm trying to think of how many runs we had last year where we used the fullback. But if we get him and it replaces Carter,
but if you
Hayward,
have a Pro Bowl fullback, that kind of it's a game changer, isn't it?
Yeah. He's long in the tooth, but you know what? I'd take him because he's still. You watch him in San Fran's offense. He's still a very athletic guy. Gets out there in the pass game, gets involved a little bit in the run game here and there. But my God, yeah, I'd take him. I'd take him in a heartbeat.
We got to fill the hole that's left now that Najee is gone, and he could do that. He could be a good enough player to come in and make a difference for the Steelers, I think.
Yeah, be that lead blocker for Jalen Warren and whoever else we got. I'd take him.
I mean, that's
right. You just need somebody to stand in that position, and exactly, yeah, to be a lead blocker, to give Jalen more opportunities, to take a ball or two up the field, perhaps. But you do need just somebody in there to fill that hole. There's going to be a gap there without Najee, so to maybe design some fullback plays around this guy won't be a bad idea. It would be all right.
Again, he's just not a guy who's in the NFL because he's a special teams guy. What a lot of times people have as their fullback, or they just drop back to tight end.
This is a proven guy right here. And
this is a 9-time Pro Bowl
experienced guy. Exactly. It
it
doesn't get much more proven than that, buddy. Exactly.
Tortilla says Kyle Juszczyk. Is that a good way to remember?
That's close to how you pronounce it. That's damn close.
All right, I'm going to roll with that. Good morning, Tortilla. Good morning, Corey. Good morning to Jen. Good morning on the board. A little technology mix up. Apparently, Comcast is in the area doing some work, so we apologize if anything on the other end of this isn't coming out great. But we're gonna move on. That's all we can do is move forward. Richard, good morning on the board to you as well. Nice seeing you. Good morning to everybody. Yeah, we got Kyle Juszczyk came to town yesterday. Again, he's a huge step up for anybody bringing in a fullback. Again, who's our fullback? Basically, it was Connor Hayward. And then as you go back, I mean, that's basically how we fill a fullback position. I don't know if we've ever had a true fullback that was productive out of the backfield, Mike. I don't recall if that's ever even been a case.
We've had a couple of fullbacks a long time ago that were helpful members of our offense, like a Dan Kreider and stuff like that. But that was Ron Haynes. Yeah, that's a name I hadn't thought of in a long time. But he had a couple of pretty productive years with us. He was more of a blocker as well, but he would get the ball from time to time. He would catch balls out of the backfield. He was a dump off, if I remember. Ron Haynes picking up some yards here and there. It's nice to have a guy like that. The fullback position in general in the NFL has kind of lost some of its relevancy over the last 15 to 20 seasons. Fullback was a big deal in the 80s
Absolutely.
and 90s. So,
Oh yeah.
now it's kind of
as the league, Finch.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Finch, as the league transformed into a passing league, the fullback
Oh,
basically
yeah.
became
The
invisible.
fullback is the offensive equivalent of the nose guard. That guy that just gets dirty and makes dirty things happen to make other players have a good play. You know what I mean? You have a good fullback in there who can run block. I think of like a Timmy Lester in front of Jerome
Yes.
Bettis, the bus driver,
Yes.
that kind of guy. And then, if you go, and he was, like I said, he was more of, they called him the bus driver. He was the lead guy for the bus. And we had great success in the late 90s with that combination, 36 and 34, I think 3 seasons together here in Pittsburgh. And they were together with the Rams before that. They liked each other and they had good symmetry. They worked well together, and many combinations over the years back then worked together well. I think Dallas had a good fullback. I can't think of his name. Was it Daryl Johnson in front of Emmitt Smith? And those guys won a lot of Super Bowls together behind a majestic offensive line. That style of football just isn't prevalent anymore in the NFL, and it's not because of a lack of people who could play those positions. It's just the NFL has made lots of rule changes and a lot of, trends happen in the NFL. And the trend is to pass the ball. And that's beneficial to the NFL as a product in general, allowing more scoring to happen. You see more flashy plays, guys like Tom Brady go on and win 7 Super Bowls. So the fullback position in general has kind of waned. However, if you do have a good team and you have that guy who can play that position well with a decent line in front of him, which the Steelers are putting together a pretty good line. They stayed together the last half of the season, and they're starting to build that synergy. They're starting to to look okay. If you put a decent fullback there, you could really give Jaylen Warren a shot. He could really start running the ball, and we could start designing an offense around it. It would be nice.
It'd be nice to have that fullback too, who's an actual pure fullback on those third
Especially
and shorts,
considering
fourth
that
and
we
shorts.
exactly we're considering we don't know what's happening yet at quarterback.
Exactly.
It's nice to have a seasoned
we are gonna get more
veteran
into that,
in the
guys.
backfield.
But let me catch up on the board here for a couple, Mike. Before we move on, I do got to get caught up on the board here. Color Haas, good morning to you, my friend. He says Comcast is doing the same thing to me. So again, let's hope that we could bust this out over the next hour, not have too many issues. Apologize if there are. Malone says I used to call Gunnar Oljewski. He was actually he was actually Polish though, so that is
It was supposed to be a
quite
Oczewski, right?
I'll say good morning to 007 on the board. 007. He says, are we still in the dark about Rodgers? Pathetic. You know what, guys? We are, but I think Aaron Rodgers loves this bullshit. He loves the attention being on him the way that it is. And even if it's to this degree where he's unable to make a decision, he's taking his time. I think he just loves the attention. Again, this is what you get with Aaron Rodgers. If you want his production, if you want what his 41-year-old arm has at this point in his career, you're going to have to deal with all the mess and baggage that comes. Everybody knows that. We just watched it happen in New York. We watched, Aaron Rodgers. The guy's just a pain in the ass. Also, he comes along and I don't know if I read this right, guys. Did he request a Pittsburgh Pirate hat? Was this a dropped? I read somewhere that he requested a Pirate hat. Why would anybody want a Pirates hat? Unless maybe you're trying to kiss the ass in a way of people that you're coming to play.
Maybe he is somebody who is quite vain and he understands his public image. And some people just like to have a cool logo on their head or on their shirt. And the Pittsburgh Pirates P is a great logo. Maybe he just wanted a sweet looking hat.
A little misdirection there.
Maybe.
One thing that worries about me, but I'm a fashion
something that worries me about him, guys? You know what worries me? You know what worries me about him? I'm just afraid that he's going to be. It will start the season. It will be 3 or 4 games in. Something won't go his way. Maybe a little. Who knows? And then he's just going to decide he wants to retire. This dude is the kind of guy that does stuff like that because it's more about him. And and if in his spiritual realm of whatever it is,
can I have a rebuttal to that? Has he ever played for a team with? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Ryan. No, I was just gonna rebut real quick. Has he ever played for a team
go
with
ahead.
strong coaching and strong ownership?
Green Bay Packers. I mean, that's a strong organization. I mean, some could argue maybe one of the best organizations in the league.
But I don't think they don't have like a Rooney. They don't have a guy like that who could step in and be like, Aaron, listen, if we sign you, this is how you're going to act and this is how it's going to be. Do you think that you don't think that could happen in Pittsburgh with him?
I think at that point, you know what? I'm Aaron Rodgers. If I want to retire after this and I don't like what you just said, I'm going to do what I want. And that's one thing that worries me about Aaron Rodgers. Unless you are, Mario Lemieux. Guys, I'm going to move on. I do see issues again with my internet bar up here. So I hope we're getting out to everybody. Comcast is effing us hard. They're expecting steak and BJ today from the way I'm seeing this, Finch.
You better get out there and give I got their steak made. You got the other part to fulfill.
I would give Comcast and BJ
Jackson
if they
says,
can
"Let's
get their
hope
shit
that,
together so we can do the show."
Yeah, I would too. We would bukkake the Comcast right now if they would give us some decent streaming.
All of it just in and around my face.
Like Bonnie Blue. What was that? This guy see Bonnie Blue. She was that chick that took 1,000 dudes in 12 hours.
Yep. It worked out. She got paid,
her?
by the way. It was like $10 a guy is what her pay worked out to.
Oh God.
I just saw that this morning. About $10 per penis that she took.
Yeah, guys really
That's
made
what
out
she
on
got
that.
paid. Not worth it. Not worth it.
Nah, she won't pay me by the hour instead of pay me by the dick.
I would totally pay $10 to bust one on her face.
Well, it really worked out for the guys because I don't know if I've ever paid more than $10 for a piece in my life. So the going rate. But at the end of the day, Bonnie Blue, guys, Tortilla Jackson, let's hope Russ signs with New York today. It's very possible. It's very possible. He also says, Tortilla also goes on to say, I don't think the Steelers care at this point. They let Pickens crash out all year. I bet they haven't said anything to Rodgers about his attitude. Exactly, Finch. That's what I'm saying. The ownership don't step in when
you're right. They probably haven't.
George Pickens is being a pain in the ass. The ownership doesn't step in when not going to step. Nobody wants to step on Aaron Rodgers' toes, and that's why he shouldn't be here, guys. At the end of the day, is he probably the best option at this point? Yeah, I mean, he probably is. But at the end of the day, I just don't know if Pittsburgh's going to be able to stomach this guy. But we will see. I do also. Tortilla said best $10 he ever spent. Yes.
Worth it.
Worth it. So anyway, guys, the New York Giants, apparently they offered Aaron Rodgers the most money. Of course, we're waiting on a decision from Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh, the Giants, and Minnesota. And apparently the Giants offered him the most money at this point. So whether, Aaron Rodgers goes to the Giants, whether Russell Wilson goes to the Giants, who knows? But I'm going to be honest. I think that Aaron Rodgers plays this out for a while because it's got to be about him.
I'm kind of surprised he isn't, going for a warm weather team. You know what I mean? When you're that age and in the NFL and you've played as long as you have for cold weather outdoor teams like New York, Green Bay, obviously, why doesn't he take the Tom Brady route and go, look for like a Tampa Bay or a Miami job? That's just curious. I think it just seems like it's all cold weather teams that seem to be going after that guy.
Go somewhere warm and finish out your career.
Yeah, right. And maybe get lucky with the team that's
also,
that's
guys,
building.
Something else interesting. We're talking about quarterbacks. Do you know this? Listen to this. The last time the Steelers had an opening drive touchdown, Mason Rudolph was the quarterback. The last time the Steelers had an opening drive,
our new quarterback,
touchdown,
Mason Rudolph, that guy?
Yeah. He literally is the last quarterback that gave us an opening game drive, guys. So, is it the great ever that he's coming back? I don't think so. The worst thing ever? I don't think so either. Good morning to Spice Creations on the board.
Better than
He
Kenny
says that's
Pickett.
why I don't like Rodgers, always trying to draw attention to himself. Um, I don't know if he was. Again, there wasn't an extended period of time where Mason played that you'd be able to compare. It was a 3-game period. But again, it's apples and oranges at this point, and we're basically waiting for Aaron Rodgers to let us know what we're going to do here in Pittsburgh. If we're going to be happy as fans, if the team is going to be, I hate that about this Aaron Rodgers, guys. But he loves the attention. This is what you're going to get. And again, I think he's best suited for New York with the media in the way they handle the way they do things up there in New York. And I think he would be better off. But again, at the end of the day, he's probably the best option. Mike, as you stated yesterday, I believe it was Minshew. Even I didn't hate Gardner Minshew, but he's gone now. He's off the table. Options are getting thin, to say the least. And Aaron Rodgers is kind of screwing us here because we were able to make the Mason Rudolph trade because we're friends with Mason. He knows us here. He's been here many years. But if he wasn't from the Pittsburgh organization, Aaron's really putting the Steelers in a situation to where our backs are kind of against the wall, to where we're almost going to be at the point where we're going to say, you know what, because he's the best option at the point, and maybe he thinks that. Maybe he's kind of playing this reverse psychology to where we're going to turn around and say, well, you know what, we need a quarterback, and he's basically the only guy left, so let's pay him a little bit extra money, get this guy. I just don't trust him. I just don't trust Aaron Rodgers, guys. But that's where I'm at with him.
I'm all in on the Aaron Rodgers. Just do it. He's the best option out there. If you want to win, he gives you the best chance to win. He can still operate from within the pocket, can still make all the throws, can see over the line. He may not be as mobile as he once was, but he still gets the ball out faster than just about any other quarterback in the league as well. Work the run game. You still have a good defense behind him. You put him out there, this offense can easily score 30 points a game with him running the show. And if they don't get him and you have to run it with Mason Rudolph, that's fine too. You're in a better position next year to draft your guy, which reports I read that the Steelers are going to try and do whatever they can next year to trade it into the top 10 because they like quarterbacks next year. Is that true or not? I don't know. But that's one of the many rumors flying out there, is that they were okay using all their draft capital next year to move into the top 10. That's how much they like the quarterback class. If that's true, go ahead and do that. Run it with Mason. That way you don't have to trade up too far. If you think you can contend, go all in with Aaron Rodgers and then see what happens. Worst case scenario, you're drafting in the top 10, top 15. Or worst case scenario, we're drafting in the same
Rodgers
spot.
because you want to win right now, and it's not going to happen because the guy, I mean, come on, he had a good team around him in New York. He had running back, he had wide receivers, he had a defense. The guy, come on, he's past his prime. I mean, let's go back and bring, somebody else old back into the game. It's just not the same. You're going to get the 41-year-old version of this guy. And at the end of the day, I just think that, he is what he is. And let's say you go all in. You're all in. And go mute out, Mike. And if you're all in on somebody like Aaron Rodgers, then, what if this guy comes and turns into a 41-year-old quarterback? What if this guy gets bored? What if this guy gets booed in Pittsburgh and he decides, hey, you know what? Screw these guys. I'm Aaron Rodgers. I'm out of here. I'm going to retire. And, those are the kind of things. I just don't trust the guy himself. Is he the best option at this point? Yes, he is. I just don't trust the guy. He's not a Pittsburgh kind of guy. In my opinion, guys, I don't think that it's going to go over well. And if you think that you're going to go all in, I don't know what that means. But right now, we are definitely more than an Aaron Rodgers away from going to the game in February. So I just think that if you weigh this out, there's a lot more negative than there is positive. And do you want to bring the cancer back into the locker room when you also have these other guys now? You never dealt with DK Metcalf. You never dealt with Slay. You don't know what you're getting in the locker room moving forward. So do you put Aaron Rodgers on top of that? The guys, again, probably the best option right now left for the Steelers. but I just don't know about the guy himself. That's what's going to be the downfall, I think, of Aaron Rodgers, whether he does come, whether he doesn't come, whatever the deal is. And if you want to test that, watch what he does when he goes to the city that he does choose. Say he decides Minnesota. Say he decides the Giants. Just watch and see. You know what? This is probably what would have happened to us. Again, guys, I think that this is probably a little too risky for the Steelers, unless you said, Mike, unless you really just don't care. You're kind of going in this year. Maybe you could lose enough games to get a draft pick, maybe. But again, if you're going all in, that means you're depending and you're relying and you're trusting in Aaron Rodgers. And I just don't know if you have those, if you can have that situation with Aaron Rodgers. I just think, again, guys, at 41 years old, if he was the way that he was in the 30s, if he was the way that he was in the 20s, he's worse in the 40s. You get older as you get worse as you get older with your personality. You get more what's the word I'm looking for?
Set in your ways.
Ornery.
Set in your ways. Yeah, I mean, now that he's 41, why would he be any better than he was in his 30s or in his 20s? I just see this guy being a huge pain in the ass. That's my opinion. Finch, what do you think?
Well, the Steelers are obviously building an offense right now, right? We picked up Metcalf. We are building what could be an attractive offense to a good young quarterback. So I'm thinking that the Steelers are thinking a year ahead right now. If we can build an offense with Pickens, Metcalf, these guys are locked down for a couple more seasons together. If we can get one more decent running back or something, and the line stays consistent, as I mentioned earlier, we could be attractive to a young quarterback next season. So right now we're just plugging a hole at quarterback. We want to get somebody in there that makes those guys look good to make them more attractive to who we draft the following season or who we make the big deal when there are more quarterbacks on the table, right? So Aaron might be the guy right now. As Ryan, you said, he might be the best option on the table. If he's willing to come here and he is willing to take a contract that is favorable to the Steelers, it isn't the worst thing in the world. His personal issues, or I should say his personality issues.
What would be the motivation, Finch, for him to do that if the Giants offered him an astronomical amount of money? What would be the motivation? I mean, because you're talking about a friendly deal here and giving him maybe getting a friendly Pittsburgh deal.
You broke up a lot. I don't understand why he would choose to come here. Okay, you broke up a lot, but it sounds like you were asking why would he come here instead of the Giants?
Because if you were going to give him a minimum and the Giants are going to pay him a big paycheck, what would motivate him to come to Pittsburgh?
Okay. We have to think in Aaron Rodgers terms for just a second here. Is it about the money? That's the first thing. Yes, you could say the Giants might be paying a lot more, but is it really for Aaron? Is it about the money, or is it about going to a team that he thinks he could have a good time with? To be honest with you, he can have fun with DK again, his buddy. He could play for a legendary coach in his mind, or in a lot of people's minds, Mike Tomlin. He could come to a classy organization. Not that the Giants aren't, the Maras are good, and the Giants have obviously had a lot of success. But you know what? Maybe he doesn't want to deal with New York anymore. Maybe he felt the pressure of the New York media with the Jets, and he was like, you know what? F New York. I hate that city. It sucks there. That could be a possibility too. Pittsburgh tends to fall in love with their QBs. Go ahead.
Or if he gets online, Finch, and goes on social media and sees signs in Pittsburgh that says, please don't bring Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, there's a lot of those, right? I posted one myself.
So,
yeah. That's true too, right? There's a lot of in play here when you deal with a complex mind like Aaron, and don't get it construed. He is a complex individual.
That's the way you deal with it.
He's a complex individual. He has a lot of things going on inside his head. He's not only smart, but he's also twisted, right?
He's complex.
Yeah. So if you put yourself inside his shoes for a minute and you say, like what you said, compare it, why not the Giants? I think there's a lot there against the Giants that's goes beyond the money. The guy's already made the money. He could retire today and his children will be rich, right? So there might be more there than just that. And Pittsburgh is an attractive place for a lot of players. A lot of players talk a lot of nice things, say a lot of nice things about Mike Tomlin. There's a lot of attractive reasons for him to come here. I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm just offering that as an example.
A couple other signs, guys, that he may be coming here. A couple that I saw was this one here by his former teammate Eccles that we just got the corner. He says, quote, yesterday, tell Aaron just to get his butt here. Does that mean he knows? And he's messing, I don't understand if maybe Eccles knows something, but also DK Metcalf says he's not worried about missing quarterbacks, not having a quarterback. He hints the decision has already been made. They made me feel like they had the right decision with who is going to be throwing me the bed by DK Metcalf. So again, is this just, he kept on the hush hush? Maybe they already know he's possibly entertaining these other cities and listen what they have to say. Because as I said, from what the players are saying here, it seems like almost like they know something.
Yeah, and that's what I was reading as well. And then, that got me thinking, this is the Steelers organization. They are known liabetics. They will tell you what you want to hear, or they will phrase it in a way to make it sound like what they are telling you is like an offer. Like, oh, you know what? Hey, we're going to go look for one of these guys. And then the players will be like, oh, this is who we're getting, So it's how are they phrasing it? Is it true? Because it's an organization, like I said, they are not afraid to lie.
All right, let me jump in here on some messages on the board. I'm going to start with Mark Malone. He says, read a piece today that said we have high interest in Howard. I agree with the Jets. Get Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. Not a big fan of Howard. All right, let me jump down right here. Okay, on Jen says, Finch, are we at Friday night's 2 cranky Jagoffs tonight already? Spice goes on to say, that's why I don't like Rodgers. Always trying to draw attention to himself. Jen says, don't get Spice started on the Mason Rudolph as starting quarterback. Corey Beavers, I feel like potentially signing a true fullback means we're going to have a power play action scheme, which makes Aaron Rodgers irrelevant. He doesn't move well enough.
That.
Sorry if you addressed that already.
That would be amazing. That would be awesome. Thank you. Please do that, Steelers. We were talking about getting the fullback, and you mentioned in that last comment. I would love to see a power run offense in Pittsburgh, right? What Steelers fan wouldn't? That's a great take there, and let's get that back. That's what we need. FDK Metcalf. Let's get power running back in Pittsburgh.
Spice says he couldn't win in New York.
Starts the fullback.
Richard says all in on Aaron Rodgers for the league minimum. Yinzer Joe, what's up, brother? He says, I still think Cousins could be an option later. Who knows? I mean, yeah, he is an option. You're not wrong. Tortilla says, damn, that beat was loud as fuck, Finch. It was super loud.
I turned it down, buddy.
That right there.
Sorry.
Mark Malone says Rudolph is going to be lethal to George Pickens and DK. I'm telling you. Spice says exactly. Let me move up here on the board just a hair. User Joe says, well, Ryan, that 41-year-old quarterback threw 28 touchdowns last season, 10 more than Russ. Even worse.
In how many more games?
This guy's thing is driving me nuts. It's driving me nuts. I'm telling you, it's driving me nuts. 10 more than Russ, even on his worst season after an injury. Tortilla says the DK and GP on the field. Myles Garrett better keep his helmet tight. Mark Malone, the worst thing in the world would be running back with Russ. I agree. That would be the last leg of Russell Wilson, if you ask my opinion. I think he should probably walk away. That was a bad exhibition what he put out there last year, in my opinion. Again, Mark Malone says the worst thing okay, Russ coming back. Actually, it would have been busting Fields coming back. You know what, busting Fields? I got a couple of things about him, guys. He got cut by the Bears. He got benched by the Steelers, and here comes the genius organization of the Jets that says, let's give this guy $30 million. So hopefully things work out there for the Jets. They get a guy that's been cut and benched and paid him, pretty big money. But let's see if the Jets
I respect Justin for making the money.
You know what? I respect Jets for continuing to stay a terrible decision-making organization. I think you're going to see the same thing with Justin Fields as you see with every quarterback that comes and goes from the Jets. But hey, we will see.
One less strong opponent for the Steelers in the AFC. That's right.
Right.
Let's see, YouTube. They let the power back go. Okay. Did Mike die? Did Mike die? What's up, over enthusiastic mod Caleb? He
Hi,
asked if you
Mike.
died, Mike.
I did not die. No. I got 2 kids running around I got to take care of.
Minus 56 Doge coins for letting coworker die.
Yeah,
on
that's
the
on
stream.
you,
I thought
Ryan. That's on you.
I thought I was gaining
Hey, man.
for that. I don't know.
I've got
Rust didn't
Doge.
play as
I got
much.
Doge. I'll give you 56 Doge for that. I
Hey,
got some
listen to this,
Shiba
guys. You
too.
wanna
I got
hear-
over $1
you
million
wanna
in
hear,
SHIB. You
guys,
want some
about
SHIB?
I don't listen. We're not going to talk about crypto. Let's talk about the quarterbacks. I want to talk about the comparison between Rudy, of course, Mason Rudolph, and Justin Fields. Rudy when he played here in 23, and Justin Fields when he played here last year. Listen to these comparisons. In the starts, Rudy was here. Let me see. Where are we at? Okay, so record-wise, Rudy was 3-1, and Justin Fields was 4-2. Attempts throwing the ball. Rudy had 110 attempts. Justin Fields had 160 attempts. Yards. Mason Rudolph had 945 yards. Justin Fields had 1,106. Completion percentage. Rudy had 68.1. Fields had 66.2. Yards per attempt, 8.5 for Rudy, 6.9 for Fields. Touchdowns. They both had the same amount of touchdowns. They both were intercepted one time, same amount of interceptions. Rudy was sacked 6 times. Fields was sacked 16 times. And Rudy fumbled the ball 3 times. Justin Fields fumbled the ball 6 times. And finally, their ratings. Rudy had a 106.1 rating while in those 4 games. Justin Fields 93.9 rating in his games last year in the 6 games that he played. So I got to be honest with you, you're getting the same thing from both of these guys. We're going to say, well, yeah, but Justin Fields much more, he's much more athletic, and that could be the deal breaker. But you know what? At the end of the day, the numbers they stack up exactly against one another, and it doesn't show any signs of one guy really being athletic. And don't get me wrong, we've seen Justin Fields make first downs when Mason Rudolph probably wouldn't. But numbers, this is Justin Fields, Mason Rudolph isn't going to be a huge drop off if we end up using him as the backup.
Yeah, like I'd be if we would have ran back with Fields, I would have been comfortable. If we run it back with or run it this year with Mason, I'm comfortable. I know what I'm getting out of those guys. I know both quarterbacks can make all the throws. They both have really strong arms. I both know that they are bottom tier starters in the league, and the only thing that Fields has over Mason is just his escapability, his run ability. So for me, they're in that same clump of guys, bottom tier starters, top tier backups.
Yeah,
they
that's
both
basically what I'm saying.
They're both they're just not consistent enough to be quarterback, to be in that upper echelon of quarterbacks. From let's say ranking of 17 up, they're not that consistent of those guys. But they can be 17 down to 34 anywhere in that range in your quarterback rating. So I would have been comfortable with either. But let's run it with Mason. If we want to throw the deep ball, if we want to get back into a more running game and just have a quarterback who is able to just roll out in the pocket, not scramble, he would be our guy. Now, if we we're going to go for an offense built how Baltimore or Buffalo built their offense, Fields would have been the guy. So this is telling me we're going to get back into a more run-heavy bootleg offense. So if we're going to get someone like Aaron Rodgers and Mason Rudolph, that's looking like the offense we're going to have.
Mike, is there any weight held in what the Steelers say they're going to do? You just made the comment, if we're going back to a run-heavy offense. Last year, we were going back to a run-heavy offense, and we had games where our running backs had a total of 3 and 6 runs. Our 2-star, between Warren and Najee, they had 9 carries. So, again, whatever the Steelers are saying, who knows if that's what we're going to do. Again, I think bringing the fullback in from San Francisco would tell a little bit more But again, you just don't know what they're going to do from season to season, week to week, even for that matter. Let's jump here on the board. Fields seems like a really solid dude, but I don't want him. Don't want to see him playing in the Berg. Caleb said Fitch still owes me 1,000 Yoj for that Russell Wilson over/under preseason bet. Finch, you better.
That's fine, man. Friend me up, DM me. I'll send you the Doge. I don't care. I got millions of Doge.
What's 1,000 Doge? About $4.
No, way less than that. Way less than that. Yeah, it's like 30
cents. My couch. We'll get you paid back.
Yeah, I got you. Hold on, let me check my pockets.
Brother, he says Justin was traded by the Bears because they were drafting Williams. He wasn't named the starter in Pittsburgh. It was always Russ. Then he got healthy. Mark Malone says Rudy is 10 times better than the QB of Fields. Rudy can drop dimes down the field. And again, it all matters what you prefer. I mean, you want the athletic guy who's going to be able to pick up the first down on a 3rd and 7 with his legs. I think that both of those guys have their pros and cons, of course. Rudy might have a longer career, because Fields runs the ball more. And also, he goes on to say some QBs are just too mentally slow to read more than half the field. Absolutely. And as Mike said, that's what separates those little things separate the quarterbacks in the NFL. Some are great, some are mediocre, some are, they're just not.
It's just the consistency thing with them. With
right
Fields and Rudolph, they just can't do everything consistently.
Tortilla says Mason's like your ex-girlfriend who can cook, and JF just saying like the ex who looks good but can't cook. Justin Fields was talking about, of course, and then Corey Beaver says, to me, this is the perfect opportunity to ride with Mason. F. Rogers, pay TJ. You're not wanting him to leave and draft a QB this year or next year or both. Just keep Rogers away. And Mark Malone says, I prefer a QB that can throw the ball. Guys, I do have a lot of things we're going to get to here
because throw the ball.
Yeah, I got some things I want to get to here, Mike, because we're getting close to the edge, and there's a lot of stuff we got to talk about. And again, I'm super irritated because I don't know what this sounds like on the other end because of the Comcast. So
fine
we're
right
going to
now,
go with it. We're going to talk about everything. Everything sounds all right?
Yeah, you sound good to
me
right
guys,
now.
So let's get into this. So all the free agents that we did sign, they were all in Pittsburgh yesterday. They came to town. They signed their contracts. They were all here. So that's all taken care of, guys. And also we did find out that not only Mike Scotty Miller that did get back yesterday, we mentioned show, but also Ben Skoranek. So there's our wide receiver room. Our wide receiver room is set. If you wondered what the wide receiver room is going to look like, it looks like this. It looks like George Pickens, DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin III, Roman Wilson, Scotty Miller, and Ben Skoranek. So at this point, unless there's any other big moves, which I can't imagine there will be at wide receiver at this point.
Cooper Kupp, baby.
That is your – well, you know what, Cooper Kupp, guys? He wants $12 million a season. And I'd give it to him, to be honest. But, I mean, you're getting the production – the thing is, Mike, you could like this guy. You could like Scotty. He makes catches that are clutch. Yeah. But guys like Cooper Kupp, they're the guys that break a game wide open. So I would give a guy that breaks a game wide open more money. And I do like Cooper Kupp. I just don't see it happening at this point, Mike. And I think those pickups on the lower end of the wide receiver room, I think they're going to seal that deal.
I think their room is set unless, they do throw an offer out there to Kupp and he takes it. Then at that point, you're like, all right, who are you keeping between Scotty Miller and Ben Skoranek for special teams? And that's what we're fighting for right there. So, if it's between 12 and 15 million, I'll take Cooper Kupp. Give him to me.
Let's see. Spice says teams have to game plan for Fields. Mason doesn't scare any. Yeah, it's true. He had a 3-game period where he played well. It's besides for that, we don't know much more about Mason, unfortunately. Jen says, Mark, are you going to be okay when the Steelers draft defensive line for the first 2 picks? Oh, could you imagine, guys, if they take a defensive lineman with the first 2 picks?
I would be in heaven.
Also, screw Jackson Dart, screw a running back. Let's go with 2 defensive linemen to start this thing. Jen and Mark's going there. Okay, and then Cooper Kupp's asking for $15 million. I had 12. Close enough, guys. Yinzer Joe says if you give Kupp an offer like that, I think you lose your starting QB money. And also, Mike.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Did you have something to say?
Exactly right.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I was agreeing with
Yes.
what he said. If you pay Cup, yeah, you're going to lose that starting QB money for sure.
And there you can renegotiate. I think you could restructure. I think Watt's contract you're able to restructure, and Minkus Fitzpatrick's contract you can restructure. And same thing with Cam Hayward's to free up money this year. So it wouldn't preclude us for getting Aaron Rodgers and Cooper Kupp. They would just have to move some money around on some guys.
Also here in Pittsburgh, guys, again, we had everybody in to sign their contracts yesterday to sign with the Steelers. Also, Mason McCormick, the rookie from last season, he earned a big time performance bonus. This guy was supposed to be a rookie, third string, sit on the bench, do your time. Maybe in the future we'll use you. Maybe you could can develop into a player. No, Mason McCormick becomes one of the most important people on the offensive line for the Steelers last season, stepping up the way that he did and being able to be productive like he was, guys. So kudos to Mason McCormick. He's getting a big time promotion performance bonus, which I didn't see the number, but when they use a word like big time performance bonus, it's got to be nice. So congratulations and kudos to rookie Mason McCormick, and hopefully to see more of him moving forward, which I can't understand why we wouldn't, right, Mike?
Yeah, he's going to be that starting right guard for the foreseeable future. Him and Frazier in the middle is going to be fun to watch for the next 5 to 6 years, hopefully longer than that. But yeah, McCormick, well done on the performance bonus. And I've read too, Beanie Bishop received performance based pay bump as well for last year. So two really good finds late in the draft right there.
Right. Also, Mike, our third string quarterback last season, Kyle Allen, he agreed to terms with the Detroit Lions. That's right. Kyle Allen will be backing up, probably the backup in Detroit. He did sign with them. And also another big thing that fans dig, and I guess players do as well. DK Metcalf will be wearing number 4.
Yes.
Number 4. He doesn't want to step on George Pickens' toes. He says, I'm here to win. I'm here to play football. I don't want to step on anybody's legacy, guys. So DK Metcalf will be wearing number 4 moving forward. Okay, Spice Creation saying he's got almost $1 million, over $800,000. We're talking about McCormick on that bonus for his performance. So you know what? Get an extra $1 for playing your ass. Good for him. I like him, guys. And again, as Mike said, I think this offensive line is so young, but being thrown into the wolves the way they are, it could only be good for the future of the offensive line. All right. Also, let's see.
It's gonna be a solid O-line.
Absolutely. See, this is what I'm saying. Like everything is I don't know what it sounds like. Everything is just so delayed on my end, and it's driving me nuts. Where are we going to go? Let me get back to this, guys, and then we are going to wrap up and start talking a little bit about a few other things. Mike Gardner Minshew, as we mentioned earlier, went to the Chiefs. I do believe I don't know. Derpy sends me over like 30 messages a day, so I don't know who moved, who didn't. I think Raheem Morris went somewhere yesterday, Mike. Again,
yeah.
Derpy just doesn't stop sending, and it's hard to keep track. Also, Corey says Mark Mason can throw. What do you mean? He will actually have weapons now. He's never had weapons like this before. He did well with what we had to work with in the past. Wasn't that also that period of time when Deontay Johnson was walking away from a fumble? So he did weather the storm at one point here, providing he steps on the field. Who knows? We might see a lot more Mason this year than we want to. And what about signing our draft picks? Yinzer Joe's asking on that. And Caleb says, important Friday question. Is cheesecake a pie, guys? Is cheesecake a pie? I would say yes.
I would say yes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if pumpkin pie is a pie, then cheesecake is a pie.
And for the Yinzer Joe for about the signing of the draft picks, there's already money set aside for the draft picks because each pick is slotted for an amount. So Steelers know what they have to spend for the rookie contract, so that's already factored in to their remaining cap space.
So there you have it, guys. We're going to start moving along a little bit here again. This Comcast is killing me. I hope that it comes out better than it sounds in my headphones. today, guys. But we did have Comcast is apparently working in the area, and even Kellerhaus, who is in Pittsburgh as well. He was having issues. So again, hopefully it comes out all right, guys. Mike, we have to. Where are we at? Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins on ice last night. They get a win, another win, 3 in a
Right.
row. 3 in a
Right.
row, Mike. Pittsburgh Penguins 5-3 over the St. Louis Blues. They'll be back at it tomorrow, hosting the New Jersey Devils. That's games at 3:00 p.m. Pittsburgh Pirates taking the L to the Twins yesterday, 15-3, but they'll be at it all weekend long. In the Grapefruit League, they'll be playing Detroit tonight at 6:05, the Orioles tomorrow at 1:05, and then the Yankees again on Sunday at 1:05. And one other baseball note, Paul Skeens is the National League Cy Young favorite at this time.
Ooh. You know what?
What's that?
If he can stay healthy and get some flipping run support, I can see him winning the Cy Young this year.
Pittsburgh Riverhounds back in action tomorrow, guys. They take on San Antonio FC. That game is at 8:30 tomorrow down at Highmark Stadium. Get down and check out the Riverhounds. And finally, Mike and Finch, the PIAA state playoffs continue. Out of our valley right here, boys, they will be taking on Forest. And for Lambs, seeing it, Mike, I think all of our teams from right here in the county are all eliminated except for that boys. So good luck to those boys, and hopefully they bring the gold back here home.
Hopefully, we need something, man. We need some more.
See, Tortilla Jackson and Spice Creations, they are going on about cheesecake and cake. Spice says it's cake, cheesecake. she says. Tortilla says cheese pie would be a pizza, then, right? So a bit of debate here on whether cheesecake is a pie, or it isn't cheesecake.
I just know it's delicious
pie.
The only thing that makes cheesecake feel like it could be a pie is pumpkin pie, right? Because all other pies have a top crust. I'm just telling you, like pumpkin pie and cheesecake are very similar in their structure. It's just a filling, it's exposed, it's baked, there's no top crust. However, other pies like apple pie, cherry pie, pecan pie, they have a top crust. That's the difference. So the question shouldn't be, is cheesecake a pie? The question should be, is pumpkin pie a cake? And then the rest just falls into line after that.
Ooh.
That's the real question.
That's a good question.
The only reason we think of cheesecake as a pie or pizza, deep dish pizza as a pie is because we are so forced into thinking that pumpkin pie is pie. And pumpkin pie is the only other pie that looks or acts that way. If it has a top crust, it's a pie.
What are you saying
right?
that pumpkin pie is then?
I think pumpkin pie is cake because there's no top crust. Think of an apple pie. Apple pie has a top crust, right? Peach pie or a cherry pie has a top crust.
On top.
But pumpkin pie does not have a top crust. It's just the
almost
filling
like a Chicago,
inside.
It's not like a deep dish as tortilla mentioned earlier. It's almost like
but we'll refer to as pizza as a pie. You hear it all the time. Pizza pie, pizza pie. But pizza is more of a cake than a pie. And pumpkin pie is more of a cake.
What cake has
exactly?
Cake
crust, does not have a crust.
Cake has a pie, or has a crust.
What
cake has a crust?
I don't know, but it's. I'm just saying,
Tortilla
man.
Says Finch has a top.
I mean,
it also
cheesecake has a crust.
Tortillas. I make joke. Yeah.
Now I want cheesecake. It's my favorite.
This would be good for our calendar. I don't know if you caught it this week, Finch. Earlier in the week, the new calendar, I think it was Jen's idea. It's going to be a Two Dumb Yinzers. All the guys from the show, we're all going to, the models in a 12-month. Keep that in mind, Finch, as well. Mike, he's actually growing out a skullet. We've all decided and agreed on that this week as well. The skullet still in that? He's still.
No.
See, back off something with this. I
Skullet and a handlebar mustache. No, not going to happen.
And the Speedo. It was just those two.
And the Speedo.
It always comes back to the Speedos with you guys.
That's with him.
Yeah, that's been a thing with him for a long time.
Yeah.
Ryan's obsessed with Speedo.
Well, we decided that we're going to create a new product and put it on our merchandise page. It's going to be the Terrible Speedo.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Yeah, it's going to be a
I
terrible,
would wear the shit out of that.
a
Yeah.
terrible
Yeah, you
Speedo. It's going to
would.
be yellow, and it's going to say and it's going to say terrible right across the front, and then it's going to have a pre-made chain that comes on it on the back. That terrible Speedo, and that's what Mike's going to wear for the shoot
Does it say
for the calendar. So
Myron Cope's official terrible Speedo? I had to look at it on the towel, but does it say that? Because if Myron Cope's name is located near my dick root, then
for
I'm
copyright,
pretty
it's
cool
not
with that.
going through.
My dick root. My dick root.
Yeah. So those
thrust.
will be,
Woo.
if anything that sounds appealing to
shit.
anybody, those will be available to everybody soon. Scribbles, what's up? Scribbles says, how
I'll
many
buy the first
years
one.
does it
I'll
take
model it
to
right here on
convince
the show.
Steeler fans you reached your ceiling quarterback? Joe says, what is it? Or a taco shell? And then Caleb says, pumpkin pie is tart.
You know, the name,
Mike, why don't you go check out the
we call
website?
him tortilla, but I pronounce it torsia. Just saying.
The2dumbyensers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got the merch store over there. We got the blog over there. We got the beep over. The beep follows me everywhere I fucking go. It's over there as well at the2dumbyensers.com. Check it out, everyone.
Go check it out.
By the way, yeah, we
www.the2dum. That is www.the. All right, guys. The question of the day. This is going to be a question about Steeler coaches. Steeler coaches. So, Mike and Phil on the board, everybody at home. This question of the day is about Steelers coaches. Here we go. Of the three coaches that led us, let me just start saying this: Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin are the coaches we're going to talk about. Guys, question: which one of those three coaches has the lowest winning percentage against the Cleveland Browns? Which coach between Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin has the worst winning percentage against the Browns?
Ooh.
Guys, take a moment to think that over. We're live. Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard every day right here on YouTube. All right, guys, question. The subject is Pittsburgh Steelers coaches. You know what, Yinzer, it's Comcast. We've been having this problem all minutes. It's making me nuts. Question of the day. Mike has the lowest winning percentage against the Cleveland Browns is a coach. Which one of these guys the lowest winning percentage against the Cleveland Browns? Cowher, Tomlin, Noll? Who is it? Who do you think, Mike?
I'm gonna go with Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher.
All right. Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
All right, locking you in. Finch, over Mike Tomlin. Who has the lowest winning percentage against the Cleveland Browns? Mike says Bill Cowher.
Bill Cowher had 3 seasons where he didn't even have to face the Browns. And when the Browns came back, he was pretty dominant against that team. I think it's Chuck Noll. In the 80s, the Browns had some good squads. Bernie Kosar just recently posted a video where he talked about dominating the Steelers for 9 seasons, and he was right about that. I think it's Chuck Noll, man. I think the 80s were tough on the Steelers, and I think the Browns, I can specifically remember a couple of games where the Browns absolutely murdered the Steelers.
Like 55-0.
Yeah, that happened in like 1989, 1990, somewhere. Yeah,
I remember that.
That was Noll time. So I'm guessing I'm going to go with Chuck Noll. I feel good about Chuck Noll on that one.
So you're going Chuck Noll. And that's
Chuck Noll.
That's your final answer?
Yes.
Tortilla Jackson on the board says Bill. Joe says Noll. Question of the day, fellas. Between the three coaches, the big three. Steelers coaches Chuck Noll, Power, and Mike Tomlin, who has the lowest winning percentage against the Cleveland Browns in their career coaching against the Browns, guys. Mike says Bill Cowher. Finch says Noll. I'll give you a hint. It's 54%. The coach that has the lowest winning percentage against the Browns, 54%.
Still close.
And it is Chuck Noll. Of course, Tomlin leads the way. He had Ben that just murdered the Browns through his
dominant
whole career. 74% winning percentage against the Browns. And also Chuck Noll again, 54%. The lowest against the Browns. So you're right. That's how it played out. It was the Browns were good in the 80s.
Yeah, they had the last half of the 80s. The Browns were a very dominant team in the AFC. They were beating everybody. They were winning like 13, 14 games a season.
They almost went to the Super Bowl.
So they came very close to the Super Bowl. If it wasn't for 98 yards and John Elway, yeah. Got to respect Elway for doing that and then going and getting plunked in the Super Bowl 2 weeks later.
The fumble. That's what it was, yeah.
Exactly.
The fumble heard around the world.
Cleveland
they should have they should have been getting their asses kicked. Cleveland should have been getting their asses kicked in the Super Bowl, not the Broncos that year. But that is, guys, Chuck Noll, the lowest winning percentage against the Cleveland Browns of the three big Steeler coaches. Guys, we are going to start getting ready to wrap up for the week here. Mike, anything before we do start getting ready to roll?
Yeah, I was just double checking. The Steelers still have 4 compensatory picks next year. If the formulas are correct, we still have a third, a fourth, and 2 6th-round compensatory picks next year. So all these free agent signings that we have signed and other people have signed, canceled out, we're still holding strong at 4. And I think even if we sign Aaron Rodgers since he was cut, that won't affect us. So we'll be good there.
Finch, we're ready to wrap things up.
Please, tonight, Friday, 9:30 tonight, Timmy and Ryan will be here in the studio. We are doing an episode of Two Cranky Jags. I apologize. We've been absent the last couple of weeks. We've had some things going on. Tim bought a new car. He bought a Dodge Hellcat, and it is sweet. He was posting some pictures on his Facebook, so we're going to talk about that tonight. Also, lots going on in the NFL, obviously, here on Two Dumb Yinzers. You guys talk a lot about the Steelers and free agency, and we're going to discuss free agency as well, including a more roundabout NFL, what's going on around the entire league and how the players are doing, how the teams are doing. And I'm sure Tim has a lot to say about his Bears because they're making moves as well. So we'll be discussing that. Once again, his young nephew, Ryan, who was here a couple weeks ago when we discussed uniforms, he'll be in the house tonight. He is a really nice addition to the show. He's funny, he's cool, super chill, and he's a smart dude. So he's joining us again tonight as far as I'm aware. And please be here, 9:30, right here on the Two Dumb Yinzers Media Network.
Go check them out, guys. It really is a great show. I thoroughly enjoy watching the Two Cranky Jag-Offs. I really do. They talk about some really cool things.
We're just having fun. Just some guys having a good time.
Excuse me, Finch. I really love the top 100 uniforms. I think that top 100 uniform was a blast. I can't wait to see what the guys have tonight. Again, 9:30 tonight right here. Check out Finch and Tim and Ryan, apparently on the Two Cranky Jag-Offs.
Yeah.
Guys, I do want to say thank you to everybody, and I do want to apologize. Again, when I'm going to go back and watch this, I'm probably going to lose my mind. I'm glad it's Friday, in case I do lose my mind. They could put me, they could put me in a straitjacket for the weekend. But I am going to look into it, guys, and hopefully that Comcast gets this all cleared up. But I do, again, thank you for bearing with us. I apologize if it sounds like shit from time to time. I don't know on my end what you guys are hearing, so I will check that out, and we do apologize. Furthermore, I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out with us today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys are always awesome. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show, and everybody at home as well, whether you're at work, whether you're in the car listening, maybe you're taking a walk, whatever the case may be. We thank each and every one of you. We don't want to leave anybody out. Thank you, everybody, so much. Guys, it is going to be almost 80 degrees today in Western Pennsylvania. That's right, 80 degrees. I think 76 is what they're saying. They're calling for. So, Mike, no reason that you're not going to have the Speedo, the terrible Speedos out.
Oh, hell yeah.
And that's going to go through the weekend. So, unfortunately, you may see the guy right next to me in his Speedos around town. Don't be scared. It's just Mike. He just doesn't have his skull and his mustache grown out yet. So you won't be able to recognize him in that case, in that sense. But with that being said, everybody, Steak and BJ Day. I hope everybody takes advantage because, again, you know what? We all have to celebrate Valentine's Day, right? Why not? Why not celebrate March 14th every year? Steak and BJ Day. I know Finch is. We heard about it in detail at the beginning of the show, which I am it's very unfortunate that we had to hear this.
I know.
Guys, nonetheless, hope everybody enjoys their Steak and BJ Day. I hope everybody has a great weekend. And I hope we see everybody back on Monday morning. Again, we do have the Pirates throughout the weekend. We have the Penguins back in action on Saturday against the Devils. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds are at home against San Antonio, everybody. And we will still continue to dig into the NFL and the Steeler news, with all the moves, all the free agency, and this quarterback situation that it's driving everybody nuts. I see people are losing their minds in Pittsburgh posts. I'm seeing, please just tell us who our quarterback's going to be. Can you please tell us before the weekend? People are chomping at the bit to find out what in the hell is going to go on with Aaron Rodgers. So we will stay on top of that as well, guys. And we'll make sure on Monday morning we'll have all that information and much, much more. And we hope to see everybody then. Finch, speak now or forever hold your peace, brother. Anything? Listen,
I'm going to come.
We get the spackle his ass cracker. Anything for you, Mike, before we take off?
No, I'm just getting ready to put my Speedo on and go play with some water balloons. So
there you go, guys. Keep your eye open for the calendar coming out later this year of the Two Dumb Yinzers. Derpy is a centerfold. You know how that goes, guys. A lot of fun stuff coming up. And as I said, I hope we see everybody back on Monday morning. Have a safe weekend. Enjoy it. It's going to be warm. Guys, have a great weekend. For Finch, for Mike in the Steeler Central Mobile Studio, myself, the Two Dumb Yinzers, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.